She was the first pair of tits I saw in a movie.
Oh, no way.
Do you think Dennis Quaid still has his wig? That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice thing
That's
for
a
him
nice
to say.
thing he said.
Wow, weirdest dragon I've ever met.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of things to share about how that was conceived.
Well, his accent was better than others.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the PatCave, a show where we talk all about superheroes, pop culture, nostalgic TV and movies we grew up with.
Oh, and we've got one that we just pulled off the top of the deck, really.
Yeah. Today we watched Dragonheart from 1996.
More dragon, less heart.
Yeah. So How to Train Your Dragon live remake is coming out June 13th.
June 13th.
I loved the original animated one.
Yeah, and it got me thinking, like, why are they doing that at first?
It looks shot for shot.
It does, and I'm kind of down.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's a lot of things that I can get upset about. Like, I was like, oh, Lilo and Stitch, what are you guys doing? Like, Lion King, Jungle Book, where I'm just like, leave it alone.
Donate them.
This one, I'm like, okay.
Well, we'll be checking it out for sure.
Yeah.
But to get ready for that, we watched just a horrible dragon movie.
Oh, so that's your take.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was very troublesome.
Now, this is 1996, so it didn't age well.
No.
With CGI.
But this won some awards back then?
Nominated?
That's the big one, but then
Okay.
it won, like, the Saturn Award or, like, some other ones that no one really...
Interesting. So I remember watching this briefly as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Did not stick with me.
Oh, you already saw this?
I mean, I remember the VHS cover.
Okay.
I remember... Once I watched it, though, didn't bring anything back for me.
I was curious.
Which was boring.
It was a chore.
It was.
This movie was like, I wanted to like it.
Yeah.
I wanted to get into this, and I literally was like, all right, I'm in a good mood.
Yeah.
Let's get my jammies on. Let's see if we find a hidden gem.
Yeah, I actually looked up the images and was like, oh, okay, it's an animatronic dragon.
Yeah.
No, full CGI.
Oh, yeah. I guess not bad enough where it didn't deem worthy of 3 more standalone films that follow.
We'll get into the sequels and prequels later. Let's talk about the summary. Let's give these people kind of a gist of what we went through.
Yeah, and can I do it like our favorite Scott?
Can you do it like Sean?
I can do my best, Money Bunny.
All right, let's do it.
Disillusioned Bowen befriends Draco, the last of the dragons, and 2 begin scamming village folk as Bowen repeatedly kills Draco for money. Bowen soon learns that Draco is the same dragon who once saved his former student, now King Einan. Einan now is a merciless tyrant, and Bowen is compelled to stop him. But the bond, James Bond, between king and dragon means if one dies, the other dies as well.
Dragonheart. That was good.
Thanks, man.
That was a good Connery.
I know.
Yeah.
I think it's based off of watching the SNL skit in which he makes fun of Ted Ferguson.
Suck it, Trebek.
Suck it, Trebek. Yeah.
Yeah, so this movie was not received well. It kind of got half and half. Mixed.
I think it's split right down the middle. All over Reddit, it was defended like, this is a good movie. And I'm like, you're on some drugs.
Ahead of its time, like defense?
No. I would say, like, so this movie does not exist, or the Draco character does not exist if not for the success of Jurassic Park. Yeah. They're kind of tied together because ILM was brought into the fold. That's a George Lucas company after Star Wars. And they bonded together to do the CGI for this.
Gotcha.
They were trying to get it done for, I think, like 21 million budget. And then Universal was like stoked that they found a good fantasy script. So like the script, I think there was so many alterations to the script as I, did my research that this is what we got, and it was not very like redeeming of like the original thoughts of like how this was gonna go.
Well, we got lots of bad wigs. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, like whether it was the mom, the mom of the king.
The love interest.
Kara.
Dennis Quaid.
Oh my god.
So
it's like they just like watched Braveheart once and were like, yeah,
we could do that for half the budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, tilt your head, squint your eyes.
You squint, it's Mel Gibson.
Yeah, does not sound like him though.
No.
So who appeared in this? We got Dennis Quaid.
We got a lot of famous actors.
Sean Connery as the dragon.
Yeah, absolutely. We got David Thea Lewis as King Einan, not the younger boy. I don't care who that was. I think his name was like Sam Oakes or something. Yeah. No one cares. David Thea Lewis was the bad guy in Wonder Woman recently.
Oh, okay.
In the first one with what's her name? He's the bad guy.
Gal Gadot.
Yes, he's the bad guy in the Gal Gadot series.
Okay, gotcha.
The Big Lebowski is another character. And then most famously, he is Professor R.J. Lupin in the Harry Potter series.
Oh, okay.
That gives him chocolate and protects him from the Dementors.
Okay. Now,
cool.
he played a piece of shit.
He played it was kind of weird because then another casting note is Jason Isaacs is in this and he is like second in command. I feel like you could have interchanged either of them to be the bad guy.
I saw that.
And then like when I think about it, I think I might have recast Jason Isaacs as the bad guy.
Yeah. And was that Draco that you're talking about?
That is Lucius Malfoy, Draco Malfoy's dad.
Oh, that's right.
He's the bad guy. He's the British officer in the Patriot.
Okay.
That we recently made fun of.
Yeah.
And he is also in season 3 of White Lotus. He has a huge role in that when he plays just a chauvinistic
it was just
pig.
baffling to me how they picked such a distinctive voice for the dragon. I mean,
yes.
I just see Sean Connery in my head.
Yes. And we'll get into like some of that in the facts and stuff as to like why.
Well, so speaking of why, Dennis Quaid.
You want me to just like get into that a little bit?
I think this has to deal with casting because like we got to talk about how out of place he feels in this.
It's horrible.
No. I knew Onan. I was his teacher. I taught him the ways of honor, of right.
There's like a nice quote about how like he kind of saved this from being scrapped because they went through a few big name stars that they were trying to get into doing this role.
Okay.
Originally tabbed was Liam Neeson.
Oh.
So he was just fresh off the heels of Dark Man? Essentially, it didn't do well, and they were like, no.
He'll bomb this one.
Yeah, the studio was like, we're not going to have him attached. I mean, you know, maybe if this had success with him in it, I wouldn't get to see him as Qui-Gon Jinn in Star Wars in 99.
You never know.
Because that's 3 years later.
And if Dennis didn't do this, we might have never gotten the Rookie.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, maybe this had to fail so that other things we love could succeed.
Yes. Now, he tried his accent for about 2-3 lines in the beginning and then just dropped it completely.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like, here's a clip.
It doesn't matter. Don't you hear it? Our rebels have stormed the castle, alive or dead. Einan's beaten. We've won.
Oh, wow.
So funny.
So the love interest, Kara, she was the first pair of tits I saw in a movie.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Which
Starship Troopers.
That's her?
Yeah, she's in the shower scene. She's like the one that fights with Nico.
I'm just giving you a fake face. I've never seen the movie.
Oh.
I feel like such a piece of
You got
shit.
me.
Everyone like raves about that being like a great sci-fi movie because it's like funny and comedic.
Yeah. Well, this movie was funny and comedic for some reason.
For some reason, it just didn't add up with like the truthfulness or like when I picture a fantasy movie, Last Night, great fantasy
A Knight's
movie.
Tale.
A Knight's Tale.
Yeah.
Whoops. I thought that was great as like a comedy, but I knew what it was.
So did you find anything about the budget and box office?
So budget, we made this for $57 million.
Okay.
And then box office return was $115.3 million. I guess it's
They got their money
success.
back.
They got their money back. They paid Dennis Quaid what he deserved and more.
We said earlier, I think it was a 60% on
Yeah.
on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes. Like when it came out, the reviews were split. Here's a review from Roger Ebert, who's like a pretty big name back then.
I've heard of him.
Okay. Dragonheart is one of the most subliminally silly movies I have ever seen. Since it combines silliness with special effects that are quite simply sublime, I must resist the urge to take easy shots at it.
That's nice. That's a nice thing
That's
for
a
him
nice
to say.
thing he said.
And we got to remember how aged it does look, but for this time,
Yeah.
people were impressed. But it doesn't help when you have like the dragon hitting on people and like
I forgot.
Well, how many dragons do you know?
So let's dig into the plot notes of this movie.
Yeah.
It starts off very confusing.
Sleepy is what I would
Sleepy,
say.
A lot of exposition. There's a voiceover narrator telling us about
There's
how
a 12-year time jump randomly.
yeah, and these dragons, I guess the world that we're in is these dragons can talk and they're protectors of humans.
Yeah, but we don't see a single one, and the only one we see is a black silhouette.
They did the whole thing like for the first chunk of the movie, hiding him so you didn't see him, save some money on CGI.
Show his eyes only.
And then after that they were just like full on have him eating lunch with with Dennis Quaid on the
drag
ground.
Dennis Quaid through a forest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, smack him against a few trees.
Yeah.
That was actually an airplane, like a glider.
Really?
For, they put CGI in front of the green screen, but that,
Yeah.
like dragging him
Wow.
was a glider.
Wow. So we start off with this prince, really kind of a brat.
Totally down for the whole "my dad just died" thing.
Oh yeah, he grabs his dad's crown before he's dead on the ground,
And then pays for it.
so real piece of work. This guy.
Yeah. Also, another phallic Lord Farquaad haircut that we've got to sit through.
Yeah, and with that nose, it
And
just
you think, like, again, 12 years comes to pass. New haircut? No.
No. Well, and so before the 12-year jump, the prince gets injured in battle. The mom takes him to the dragon. Dragon gives him half his heart.
Please, sir,
And
make
he-
my good child a
My good child.
Oh, man.
So they had to swear that this kid was going to be good.
yeah, he had to swear an oath
Yeah.
to, like, defend this dragon as well.
Keep up the old code. That's what they kept saying. It's like the Knights of the Round Table, like fighting for honor. Then Dennis Quaid was supposed to be his mentor.
Oh.
And
yeah.
just, we never see them part ways.
Yes.
It's just 12 years later, and then Dennis Quaid's leading
Shooting
the
arrows?
rebellion.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's so there was a lot of those things going on.
Which mentioned in rewrites, like they cut so many scenes that like gave him a likeness that I think the audience could relate to. The director said we had to cut one of his best scenes, Dennis Quaid, which I think is just a lie. I don't think any scene could have like made this better.
Amazing. Just like this could have been
Yeah,
better.
We cut one of his best scenes.
Why? Because the story didn't line up.
Yeah.
It already didn't line up.
Oh man.
Horrible wigs.
Yep.
Dennis's accent.
Bad fake blood on the ground.
Pink.
Yeah.
It was pink.
Looked like someone just washed their car.
Yeah.
It just was like a creamy undertone with like a bright redness that did not look like blood. Looked like
Just-
finger
It
painting.
blows my mind where people take shortcuts.
I think it's supposed to be a dragon flame, and it's like a cauterized moment on his heart.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like zzz. It was like a lightsaber turned on.
Yeah. The mix, the weird mix of when do we use CGI, when do we do practical.
Mm-hmm.
I would have probably preferred practical.
And then I was like in my head thinking like, oh, they stole that, but it's like, no, I'm an idiot. That movie came out way later. In A Knight's Tale, they also run into a poet that then gets enamored with the main character and wants to follow him around and write stories
Yeah.
about him.
And this is like, what are they? Friars?
Yeah, he's like, it says his name is Brother something.
Yeah.
Brother,
He was actually one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, Brother Gilbert of Glockenspur, the
Brother
poet.
Gilbert. He was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
They gave him some good lines.
Yeah, you also see him in The Departed, and he says a line to, I think it's, wait, is it Departed? No, it's The Town. He says a line to Ben Affleck about cutting his nuts off.
Oh.
Here's a clip.
You got a problem with that? I live at 551 Bunker Hill Street. Stop by any time.
You're gonna do this for me? I'm gonna clip your nuts.
I don't like this anymore. Brother Gilbert witnesses him kill this first dragon.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, he did not.
So I was confused because I'm like, we don't see the dragon. There's dirt flying from beyond a hill.
We see Dennis Quaid throw a spear, and we see a couple of guys inside a hole catch spear, pull it out of frame,
and then eat it.
and eat it like a Pac-Man.
He's literally trying to fight a dragon with a sword and gets eaten.
Yeah, to me, it's like I really wish I could take a time machine and go on set and watch them get all giddy about how many awards they're going to try to win.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's a scene where like he stabs the top of his mouth, and like if he closes his mouth, he dies, but also he can't get out. It's a stalemate.
We're about 4 p.m. and then cut to 9:30 p.m. where the moon's out,
And I was
he's
like, dude,
still
just-
in his side his mouth.
Bro, just blow fire on this guy.
That's a fun fact. Actually, there's not a single time where that dragon blows fire out of his mouth.
It's all
from the nostrils.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like, why?
I mean, Reptar's a dragon, right?
Dinosaur?
Yeah.
Just knock him off the table. Just get out of here. Charizard is
dragon.
He has a mega that is dragon type.
Okay.
So he counts.
And of course, I got my Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Paraphernalia.
He's touched a dragon.
What? And this is a dragon guy?
This is a dragonborn paladin from a campaign that I was playing in back in California. That's also from a campaign, and he is a
Dragon Slayer.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you for cutting that off.
Yep. I will go into further detail because he didn't have a great campaign.
Yeah. You know, Dennis Quaid gets the gold for slaying the dragon.
What is the dragon's end game with making money?
Just not having other people attack him, and
He could just burn the village.
but
with
he
his
also can't
nose.
stop other people from attacking him.
Yeah, it doesn't add up.
Someone's getting a better end of this deal.
Yeah,
Quaid.
Yeah, who can fit inside the inn and get the prostitutes if he wants to? This dragon's like trying to hook up with this Kara girl. And like what? What's he gonna brag about? I've got a few shillings to my name, honey.
They're Quaid coins.
The Quaid coins. They did scout Spain as a place to film.
Okay.
But they actually filmed in Slovakia.
Okay.
Slovakia.
Slovaks.
Yeah, not Czechoslovakia.
Okay.
That doesn't exist anymore.
You know, the love interest, Kara, gets captured.
Yeah.
And the mom is just like reeling over like saving her son's life because she's like, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
My kid sucks. And so she goes in and saves Kara's life through a very elaborate door system.
Yeah.
These are 1,000-pound stone doors. Is there a slave back there just spinning a wheel?
Gotta be. Or Fred Flintstone and Company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like those little things just made me laugh. All the sword fighting is like, just hit the other person's sword.
Yes.
Like, don't go for anything else. No blocking. Just hit the other sword.
Oh man, do you imagine like how much longer conflict would be if you never hit the guy?
I think that's so what they think sword fighting is.
Yeah, which is why it's so unbelievable to me that Dennis Quaid apparently broke his pinky in this and was having to wear a cast for the last 2 weeks of filming.
Oh my gosh. In a sword fight?
Yeah. That's what he claims.
Okay.
I think the only scene that I caught you watching is like there's another monk just running around with like no clothes on. Like, what is their fascination?
For the second one?
Yeah. Yeah. Pat stayed up late and then watched the second movie.
Bro, I had to.
I don't know if you had to.
Way worse than this one.
Yeah.
Like in a half budget kind of way.
In a half budget sort of way that includes the eldest brother from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a dragon that looks just better than Dragon Tales.
And just significantly less than Draco.
Yeah. The dragon gets hurt, the king gets hurt.
Yeah.
Okay,
they're conjoined.
You will never win until Einan's evil is destroyed, and to do that, you must destroy me. No.
Cut to weird shot of these bulging stars with like the weird purple hue around them. So gross looking.
And there's like a dragon heaven, and if you like redeem yourself, and there's a lot of lore explained.
Yeah.
That just, they told us a lot. They didn't show us a lot.
I have to say it because I'm gonna forget to. When Dennis Quaid's voice cracks, it was so good.
I got everything under control.
I was shocked they didn't take another scene.
I have everything under control. That's what he said.
That kind of, they probably thought it was funny, and we're like, let's lean into the comedy.
I don't think he liked that. I don't think he was fine with that cut. I think he would have liked to take it again.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, dude.
There is some bad stuff in this.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just logically, like him shooting that arrow from like 400 meters away and then riding in.
Oh, yeah. Well, they cut to the people like, oh, there he is. And then they cut, he's like, there.
Then he's
just
there.
got there.
Yeah. I mean, gorgeous setting they're in. The wigs ruined it. Quaid's voice ruined it.
Yeah.
The CGI dragon did not age well. You want to get into scores?
I do have some booty facts, and we can just like rifle through them real quick so that we can get to our scores.
Booty factoids.
The animatronic Draco was made originally by Jim Henson's company Creature Shop.
Okay, so they were going to do animatronic.
They were.
Yeah.
And then this is credited with ILM. It pioneered a program that captured the like facial recognition that they then started using in other films.
Okay.
So while it wasn't executed to like the perfect level that we see in Jurassic Park,
it was groundbreaking.
This was considered groundbreaking via CGI that led to other films being so great.
Which this led to a couple nominations.
It did. So it won 3 that don't matter.
Okay.
A Saturn Award for Best Fantasy Film. It won the Hollywood Digital Award. Scott Squires was the recipient. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds real.
Yep. And then Online Film and Television Association gave Sean Connery the best voiceover performance for their awards. That was it. It was nominated in the Academy Awards for Best Effects and Best Visual Effects.
Did not win.
No.
What? Do you know what it lost to that year?
It was against Twister.
Ooh.
Great visual effects.
Ooh.
Wind. Beat out a dragon.
Wind.
And then also Mission Impossible, the first of the Mission Impossible series came out at the same time.
So this tanked.
This did, I mean, yeah, it did okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it just it blew people's minds when they saw it.
Right.
But also that probably distracted from how bad the story was.
Not well enough.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was still a real tough watch, guys. We've got a quote here from Charles Edward Pogue.
Pogue life.
Pogue life. There were critical elements missing and things were replaced, and there was all this silly stuff, like this village that's surrounded by 10 million pigs, but all the people are starving and yelling out, "We're starving, we need meat, let's just kill the dragon." But they're surrounded by pigs, so I'm like trying to find the logic here.
Yeah.
I just didn't get that.
Oh my God.
Love that quote.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Those were the booty factoids.
No.
Those weren't all the booty factoids.
Those, yeah, I have, because some of these are like, these are
good stuff.
Yeah. They wanted a big name lead actor for the film, so they were considering actors such as Tom Hanks for Bowen, Kevin Bacon, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Ooh.
And then the studio even suggested that Whoopi Goldberg voice Draco instead of Sean Connery.
Oh my God.
Loved that. And then other actors that were considered to replace Neeson included Harrison Ford, Mel Gibson, and Patrick Swayze. That was Cohen's first choice before.
Swayze would have been sick.
Kenner, which is a toy company, released a line of toys based on the main characters and additional dragons that weren't shown or mentioned in the film.
Join forces with Draco the Dragon and his fearsome friend Bowen as they swoop into battle and launch an arsenal like you've never seen. A mighty whip of Draco's wings and a flash of Bowen's steel will turn the tide. Now joined by the battle spikes of Razor Thorn and the two-headed Medusa's twin firepower, they'll stomp out evil once and for all. Feel the fire of Dragonheart. Figures each sold separately.
Weird.
Yeah, because he was the last dragon in this film.
Yeah. Oh, but maybe they were like planning a whole franchise of these movies.
Well, in the second one,
get them.
There's an egg that they find in Draco's cave.
Yeah. At its release, Dragonheart spawned a spin-off 2D hack and slash game for the PlayStation. And that was oh my God, I just skipped into that instead of the other thing. What they had stuff. They had a lot of Kenner had a lot of stuff.
They made stuff.
Action figures. They had limited edition vinyl model kit of Draco and Bowen together. Topps released trading cards.
Nice.
For this film, and there was a comics division that published a 2-issue comic adaptation of this
movie. And the
movie.
toys, you could interchange the wigs on the toys.
I bet. Yeah.
Oh man, I should get one of these toys.
I know. So yeah, there was a video game that PlayStation had and Game Boy had called Dragonheart Fire and Steel, made by Acclaim Entertainment. Yeah, I don't know.
Yikes.
So Dragonheart creator Patrick Reed Johnson expressed a desire to remake this film with Sean Connery and Liam Neeson as his original choice for Bowen. Before Universal fired Johnson from the project. And then in April 2016, Matthew Feitshans, whatever that guy's name is, screenwriter for the Dragonheart prequels that you watched last night, said that Universal wanted to use the prequels to keep the film series momentum up, mentioning the possibility and hopes of them leading to a big budget remake of the original film. He reiterated that he was still interested in doing this project to this day.
That's a horrible idea.
I know. I just don't think that this carries a lot of like weight in gold to like keep making these.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's feeling like, oh, this was so close.
There
like, it's right there.
No, there are so much better fantasy like movies and novels out there to then turn into a film. Like we already got Lord of the Rings. We've like let's get off that.
So also like when I was watching the second one, I'm like, this storyline is already getting old.
Sometimes it takes a special friend.
Because there is 5 of these.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 prequels, and then the one I just watched, which is a sequel.
Yeah.
And it came out in like 2000, so like 4 years after. Whoa. So booty, should we get into our Dragonheart booty scores?
I believe it's that time.
All right, what's your score?
I gave this a 5.7, and I gotta retract.
Oh.
It was not that good.
Okay.
It just wasn't.
So you're going to give us a lower score now?
I don't know, man. Like, yeah.
No score? You're on strike?
Let's just take it down one notch, so 4.7.
Okay.
Because,
that's
like,
accurate.
The idea is there.
Yeah.
There are moments where I'm like, this world could have been cool.
Yeah.
But I don't think the idea of, like, dragon connected to human heart wields enough action for a 4-movie series.
Yeah, especially one that talks like a human and has a personality. Like, it's kind of strange.
Yeah. Like, and just to like reiterate, like dragons are cool. They're not that cool.
Yeah.
Like you need like Game of Thrones has dragons. What else does it have? amazing plot.
Right?
Amazing story.
Good writing.
They're not, and we had to wait on those fucking dragons for years.
Yeah.
It was worth
Yeah.
it, but it wasn't like it didn't hinge on the dragons.
Yeah.
Now, if they looked like fucking that, dragons are coming. They're almost there.
Yeah, my Dragonheart Pat score.
Yeah.
It's probably a 3.9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it wasn't bad enough to where I had fun. If that makes sense, it's right on the line there of like you see the potential, but also you're like, I don't want to watch this. It's boring.
Is it fair to say that we maybe thought that we had something here when it was suggested to us, and that it's our fault for expecting too much of Dragonheart?
No. I think it's the service we do for you guys. We watched it so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I will never recommend someone watching this.
Yeah, and like Cav, like, I'm sorry, man. Like this, like it just
I don't think he likes it. I just think he knows it's a bad film we should watch.
I don't know.
We'll have to ask him. So that was the PatCave Dragon Edition. How to Train Your Dragon coming out soon. We might go to the theaters for that.
June 13th.
June 13th.
Be there.
Last thoughts on dragons in general?
There's so many better ones out there.
Yeah. Like Reptar.
Like Reptar. He's more lizard than he is dinosaur.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
They're both the same.
Okay, well, make sure to like, subscribe, share with your fellow nerds. And that was the PatCave.
Yes, sir.
Do you think Dennis Quaid still has his wig?
No, but he is playing a serial killer right now in Happy Face Killer on Hulu.
Really?
Yeah. It's kind of strange. I mean, kind of works.
Is that a sequel to The Rookie?